Hello, everyone. This is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for a couple years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we are shipping out today on the 2nd. So the post office was closed on the 1st. So happy New Year to everyone. This is like 2 days worth of stuff. It was pretty decent. So yeah, I'm just going to jump right into it. 1 second. All right, so the first thing that sold was the United Federation of Planets right here, Cadets Orientation Source Book for I think, is this Star Trek? I want to say this is Star Trek or some kind of space RPG. Okay. There you go, Star Trek down there. I wasn't seeing it at first. All right, this ended up selling for $10.12. We got a bunch of RPG books a long time ago. They're still selling. Everything is going to be plus shipping, so that's plus shipping. I'll just save us some time right now. All right, next up is going to be this like magazine booklet. This does not have the game on it. This is Sandhurst War Games right here. This like big little booklet. I think this is just like the rules. You can see on the back that there's supposed to be like a game in here that you can tear out, and there's like bits and pieces. Yeah, it just looks like, oh yeah, this is just straight up like the rule book. There was like a little bit of highlighting in here. This page doesn't have highlighting, but yeah, it's a pretty cool war game rule book. I had like another 2 of these, so I didn't list quantity 3. I just relisted another one with new pictures because there's gonna be different like small creases in different spots, and I want to make sure that the person gets exactly what they're ordering. That only sold for $6.75. Probably would have done a lot better with the game inside of it. All right, next up is going to be something I listed recently. These are a bunch of like stone ceramic little like polar bears. It's like a mama cub and a bunch of her little small cubs. This is pretty cool. This was just like sitting in a bin that Netta grabbed from like a thrift store a long time ago. I've just been like cleaning out and listing a lot of non-nerd stuff just to make space. This sold for $17.99, which is not too bad for like a little ceramic set like that. All right, next up is going to be Uno. This one's from 2012. I always pick up Uno just because I know how many people actually enjoy this game as a family game. A lot of people have like house rules or they want this specific year. So I always make sure to write down the year. And if it's an open version, not sealed, I like to take pictures of like the wild card and stuff like that, because people will always ask me, or have in the past, like, oh, what's the image of this particular card? They just want to match their set, or maybe they want a whole new set and they just like the one that they've always played. That sold for $8.99. Not too crazy for that. It's Uno, so there's a lot of copies out there, so it sells slowly, but I do like to pick them up cheap. All right, next up is going to be a lot of, let's see if I can find it, 116 Deep Rock Galactic acrylic board game pieces. I'm not too sure what particular board game this is. I get a lot of board game bits and pieces. Acrylic pieces are going to be like nicer ones that people upgrade the cardboard into. So yeah, a lot of games will have that as like an extra you can buy. We end up selling this for $13.49, which is pretty solid for some like extra bits and pieces because we get a lot of them and relatively cheap. All right, next up is going to be a board game, Shut the Box right here. This isn't such a crazy version. If you get like really good versions of this game or custom, like you can sell them for a lot. This is Front Porch Classics right here. Let me open it up. Yeah, it's pretty good as magnets. It has like 2 wooden dice. I would say this is like a pretty solid one. It's like solid wood, pun intended. Oh yeah, it's like little designs on like the little flippies on the top. I haven't really played this game, and I just played it before. This one sold for $18.74. Like I said, if it looks better, like designed better quality, that one's still pretty decent. They paid $15 in shipping, so I thought you did play it. Oh, okay, no. You knew people that played it. All right, apparently I'm making up lies here now. I just thought, yeah, it's okay. So the game is, I think you roll 2 dice, and there's a bunch of little numbers you have to flip down. And then when you flip all the numbers down, you get to shut the box, which is where the name comes from. I think you get to either add the numbers, subtract the numbers, or pick one of the 2 numbers you roll. And that's what you have to do each turn. I'm not sure what happens if you miss a roll. I don't know if you like lose the game or if it's like the other person's turn. But I feel like you play your go around. I feel like it's a solo game, and then someone else goes and tries to see if they can shut it faster, I think. All right, next up is going to be a war game right here, a little baggy game. I got this at auction. This is Soviet Dawn, the Russian Civil War right here. It's, I don't know, it looks like kind of like one of those magazine games. It's like it was in a little baggie, so you got the rules in the front, you got the map, and you got some cards and some all the chits, like the little pieces. This sold for $33.74. I paid $2 at auction for this. Anetta was holding strong on this one because we were getting a ton of offers. There's probably a couple that I was going to take, but she said someone would eventually pick it up for a better price. So yeah, this sold for $33.74. So bonus or props to Anetta for holding strong on that one. All right, next up is going to be Oyvind Falstrom right here, some kind of artist right here. He has a bunch of like, it looks like a comic, really detailed, colorful, popping colors. This is a museum like art book. This sold for $45. Like we get a lot of books and stuff cheap, and then once in a while there will be like a huge winner in there like that. So it's always worth it for us to go through all the books and stuff. So yeah, this was probably bought when I bought a bunch of random comics, because it looks like that would have been thrown in there with like the comic section, if that makes sense. All right, next up is going to be something I'm so happy this sold, just like a personal item. Not personal, it's not mine. Okay, I'll just go into Wilson Cake Leveler right here, some like vintage cake thing. I think this helps you cut the cake and then hold it in place. Sorry, the like original wrappings. This is why I wanted to sell, because it's so like I couldn't wrap it in a baggie. It was just so unwieldy. Cumbersome. Yeah, that's the word I want to say. It was in the storage bin, and I always had to like move it around in certain spots to make sure it didn't get like squished and stuff like that. We've had this for a long time. When this sold, I was so happy. I can actually see like the old at my parents' house where I listed this. This sold for $6.78. Literally listed that years ago. Nothing too crazy. At that time, we were going to thrift stores getting like vintage stuff, and yeah, just giving it a try. That was like our beginning era. We probably paid like 50 cents or $1 a quarter. Yeah, it's probably a thrift store, maybe yard sale. Yeah, we were just grabbing like anything that was vintage. So yeah, someone's gonna enjoy it. It's clean, it's nice, it's new, other than like it's like not in a baggie or something. All right, I'll move on. I'm just happy that sold, just because it's like out of my way in storage. All right, next up is going to be a board game. I'm a little sleepy. Let's see, Bismarck right here by Avalon Hill. This one's pretty cool. The only reason why this is a massive German ship right here, this is going to be a board game about taking it down, probably. I haven't played this game. Let me move my coffee. Make sure it doesn't spill on anything. Yeah, I haven't played this game, but my dad was really into like different history and stuff, and he always told me as a kid about the Bismarck ship, so I just randomly knew of it. I'm not like a history buff. But this ship was like massive German ship that they designed, and it took down a lot of stuff. This was basically like a massive destructive force, like one ship type of thing. I think it took a lot of effort to take down, which is why there's a board game on it, I guess. This sold for $15. Those games do pretty well for us. We've had that one for a while, so the condition is pretty good. The box and stuff for like the edges is pretty solid too. All right, next up is going to be a Disney monorail train sets. You saw the train stuff we've been selling recently. Those were from auctions that I got a year or two ago. And I just went through it recently just because, like, look how big this is. I just finally wanted it out of the way. This one is like the box is taped and stuff, and the pieces are a little dirty on the inside. So I listed a lot cheaper, took a lot of pictures. It's still usable. This sold for $18.74. If this thing was cleaner and better condition, it would do a lot better. All right, next up is going to be a My Little Pony right here. There's also like a bag of My Little Ponies that Aneta grabbed at a thrift store a while ago. Like I said, I've been going through some old non-nerdy stuff. I guess you can consider this nerdy if you want. People are really into this. This is like a whole genre and stuff like that. This is Pony Prince Shining Armor. I never knew that there was a guy one. This sold for $10. So as I was just listing them, some of them I did for lots, and other ones I realized I can get a little bit more if I didn't lot them up. All right, next up is going to be something super cool, or at least I think so, and another thing. So this is like a, let's see, where was it? Panasonic color television, kind of like a promotional like hanging thing. This might have been at like a retail store or something like that. It has like it's a little hanging clip right there. Let's see, this is called Hollywood Banners. So yeah, not too made in the USA. This we got from a auction house moving from one place to another. We got a big pile of stuff. I think we paid, I don't fully remember, maybe like $200. I think it was like $200. This ended up selling for $60 itself. So yeah, we got a lot of random stuff like those Lamborghini catalogs, and it was honestly just a bunch of random stuff because they had to move like in 2 days and they needed stuff out, so they were willing to negotiate. This sold for $60. That was pretty cool. That was Aneta's idea for me to list that higher. I think I originally had that listed lower, and then she said, no, that's super cool, you should list it higher. I listened to her. We got 60, so it's pretty good. All right, next up is going to be Two Field Notes, which is a company here in Illinois. They're in Chicago. These ones are going to be, I'll talk a little bit about them. These are the 5th edition. I think this one's the Monster Journal, and I think this red one is going to be like a player journal. So Field Notes is in Chicago. I think they do all recycled stuff, and I'm 100% sure on that. But they do all these little notebooks that you can take out to like the job and stuff, and they'll have like a lot of like, if you're a construction worker, it's gonna have like a lot of little measurements and stuff, like actual useful information that people use. So like they did some 5th edition D&D ones. So these are really cool. These are unused. I think I just had they usually come in packs of like 3, so I'm not sure where the third one is. This sold for $10, so not too crazy. Like they are pretty reasonable with their pricing. They always do like limited edition ones. They'll have like different arts and stuff like that. And then they'll have like their basics that they're always selling. So just a little random factoid for that. All right, next up is going to be an RPG book. A little bit all over the place. The Dark Eye figure flats. I'm not too sure what this one is. This actually might be, yeah, it's an RPG book, right? Oh, it's gonna have flat characters that I think that you like cut out and you can like put on the table. So yeah, that's a pretty cool concept. I always like that. Miniatures are really cool. That's like kind of like the, you know, the top tier, like a highly detailed professional painted miniature. But I like standees. I like these little flat figures. I don't know. It just adds characters to certain games. You know, not everything has to be like amped up to its fullest. So that's pretty cool. Someone's can appreciate this. It's sold for $15. All right, next up is going to be WizKids Pirate El Corzana Del Mar, an individual ship. You saw us sell a bunch of, not a bunch, there was like 1 or 2 small lots we sold. We missed up an opportunity to get a huge bin. I did. And another side messed up because I did. We could have gotten a huge bin of these. I did not get these at auction. I just happened to run into the pirate stuff occasionally. You pop out the pirate ship, you build it, there's stats in here. It's like a cool game you play by WizKids. $7.42 for an individual. Sometimes when I don't get enough to just lot them up, I'll just do them individually. All right, next up is going to be something pretty solid. This is a Pokemon Go TCG set. Like a retailer window cleaning professional poster type of thing. So it's going to be reversed because you have to put it on the window and then it'll be upright. But yeah, this thing is pretty cool. Yeah, it says Pokemon Go has like Mewtwo and Mew and all the other like characters on the front of that card sets. This sold for $20.25. We did not get any of this set. We haven't been able to like afford a bunch of Pokemon cards and stuff like that, but we do like opening up the packs and such. It's just expensive. All right, next up is going to be a combo order. They sent offers on 4 different decks. I do look up like the different decks for the WoW TCG about like what their pricing are, because like different decks are going to be like either more limited, special promotions and stuff like that, or from different sets or harder to get. So right here they got the basic Horde one for $6, which is nothing too crazy. Filthy Raiding Pillaging Horde, and then we have an Alliance Druid, right? Not Alliance, it's a Horde Tauren right there, Druid box. So that one's pretty solid. There's like a card that goes with it. The name's crossed off right now, so I can't see it. This is $8, so they spent $14 on this, and then there was 2 other ones that I had like original, I think like 25 or 26. Their offer was a lot lower. We tried to meet in the middle and it just didn't work out, but they still got 2 items, so that's pretty cool. 14 for the combo order. All right, next up is going to be an RPG card. RPG card. What am I making up? I'm going to have to find it. Where did I put it? I can't find it this second. Oh, here it is. Cool. Keeping flat underneath the book. This is a Netrunner card, not RPG. Mushin Notion Operation card right here for a corporation. So yeah, this is just like a promotional card. A lot of people like Netrunner. This is a really cool game. This sold for $6.99. They have stopped making official stuff a long time ago, but there are still fans making sets, and a lot of people still like the game. Plus, there's a lot of stuff out before they lost the license and canceled it or whatever, however that works. So yeah, there's still like, if you want to play all of that, there's a ton of content. It's a really solid one. All right, next up is going to be the Art of Magic the Gathering from Zendikar. I actually got this from one of my younger brothers a long time ago for Christmas. Never really opened it up. At the time, I didn't ask for anything specific. I just wasn't, I got it. I was appreciative at the time. I just kept it sealed. This ended up selling for $15. So nothing too crazy. It was probably a loss from what they probably spent on it. I didn't really care too much about like the lore and stuff. Like technically like Zendikar, the original set was the first time I had played Magic. So maybe that's why he was thinking. So like it was the thought that counts, but yeah, I'm selling it now like many, many years later. All right. Next up is going to be a Dungeoneer Tomb of the Lich Lord right here. This looks like kind of like not a custom, but like one of those card games or board games that maybe has like 100 to 500 copies or something. I could be misspeaking. I'm just taking a guess by like looking at it. It was unique when I grabbed it. It was like harder to research. I ended up just listing as a lot of 117 of these cards. They had like a pretty solid art. This went to a repeat buyer, so maybe they know what it is. That sold for $20. I always like to grab the niche stuff like that. All right, next up is going to be Dark Age Miniature. This is Core Nexus right here, this figure. He's a metal one. So I was only aware of the Dark Age card game and then the RPG. This might be a game by Cool Mini or not or something like that, but there were no miniatures listed. I happen to have two in like one of my like boxes of just like bits and pieces I just need to eventually get to. I was getting to it because, like I said, I was cleaning out stuff in my listing room. This sold for $44.99 for repeat buyer, so maybe it's to the person who bought the first one. All right, last up is a combo order, just 2 items, Battlefield Miniatures IF10. I'm not sure what the SKU stands for. I don't know if the I is for like Italy, and this one's RUS6, so maybe some Russian figures or something. We have a bunch of these Battlefield Miniatures. We've done pretty well with them. This sold for $45 to repeat buyer. This person is actually, they've been buying from us for a couple of years, and they usually like these little like wargaming miniatures. So once in a while, when I list a bunch, I'll actually reach out and say, "Hey, is there anything you're interested in?" They always appreciate it, and they buy a bunch of stuff. So it's pretty cool that they like the stuff that we find, like the more niche like wargaming miniatures. All right, thank you for watching. Hope everyone's having a good new year. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to help support us. Take a look at the shop down below.